All right, here we go. One take. All right. Serious. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the ShiteTalk podcast. I, of course, am the Truly White, and today I am joined by Mr. Aaron Kelly, as always. This is episode... What episode are we at now?
19, I think.
19, episode 19. We're flying these out, boys and girls. It has been a very productive start to the year for the ShiteTalk podcast. Myself and Kelly have a few topics we want to talk about. We're just saying there's probably one that we're going to focus on. I'm sure, given the timing of this coming out, you all probably know what it is. But before we get into that, let's start off how we always start off. Aaron, mate, how's things? Has anything been happening in your life over the last 2 weeks?
Listen, first of all, like, obviously we're going to be talking about the big elephant in the room, the European Super League. I'm not going to lie, mate, that has dominated the way I have felt the last week. Certainly. It's literally all I've been able to fucking think about, to be quite honest with you. Might be a bit sad, but you know. Apart from that, just not a lot really. Everything just seems to be fucking plateauing at the minute. I'm still trying to lockdown. I'm just still trying to get through it. I mean, I was happy with our last episode. Obviously, we had our first guest on. David was on, and that episode went down really well. So I was happy to see that. And it does definitely, I think, open the door for more guests in the future. And I thought that episode went really, really well. In terms of anything else, I don't know about you, right? I'll start off this with a question. Do you be up in college at all these days for practicals? I presume you probably do a little bit, or are you? Yeah,
so I would have been up. Like, the way we work at the minute, we have 1 day for practicals. Like, our group has 1 day, and then that's it for the week. And then the other group is in the next week, and then we're back in the following week. And we've done that twice, and then I think I have my practical exam. But yeah, I've been up in college anyway. Yeah, for practicals.
Yeah, I've started being up 2 days a week now, on Tuesday and Thursday. Tuesday for TV production, and Thursday for radio. And honestly, mate, like, it's genuinely the highlight of the week, just to get out of the house, get up to college, and just meet your friends again. Like, it's actually so mad how much we took this kind of stuff for granted during, like, before the pandemic. I just thought to bring that up because it's actually mad how much you value it. I'm in 2 hours each day, and they fly by because I'm genuinely like, this is the highlight of my fucking week, lads.
Yeah, no, I fully get that. I mean, I'm the exact same. I actually was only thinking out this morning, like, you know, when lockdown ends, like, just looking forward to getting out and going places again. Like you say as well, just going up to college and meeting. Like, I'm in 4 hours, and the same as that. Like, it just flies by. Like, it's not as much as you'd enjoy the work as well. It's more so the crack you do have. Like, it's all well and good. You can have a bit of crack in a shitty breakout room, but it's not.
It's not the same.
Not the same at all.
I don't know about you, but I hate breakout rooms, mate. They're the fucking.
Mate, I'm not gonna lie. The last couple of lectures we've had breakout rooms, I've just left. I'm not dealing with it. It's pointless, in my opinion. There's just no work gets done in it. It's awkward as fuck, and the lecturer thinks he's doing something when they're not. Yeah, they're not doing anything. They're not helping us. It just feels like a filler. If they don't have enough to talk about, chuck them in a breakout room for a bit.
Yeah. What's funny is that you hear the lecturer go, "Okay, right, well, we're going to break into breakout rooms now." And then you just see, like, the number of participants in the fucking Microsoft Teams meeting just slowly going down and down and down until there's nobody left. And she's like, "Oh, well,
then
that's been pointless." I have got another bit of news, actually. I bought a PS5 yesterday, lads. I finally got it done. It's unbelievable. It's ordered. I got an email, actually, when I finished class yesterday, saying that it had been dispatched. I ordered it at like 8:30 yesterday morning. Then by 1 o'clock, I got an email saying it had been dispatched. So I've kind of been sitting here all day, looking out the window, waiting for a DPD van to just kind of pull up and say, "Here's your PS5, Aaron." But obviously this podcast is coming out on Tuesday, so by Tuesday I should have it realistically.
Fingers crossed, yeah, definitely.
And the fun begins. We can start doing all the
content
series we've talked about. We talked about doing a bit of pro clubs on my channel with Grivach, and the possibilities of that is getting me really, really excited. I'm also very excited to play Spider-Man as well. Like I'm buzzing now. I can't wait.
There's just lots of new stuff coming in. When the PS5 comes in, there's just lots of new stuff. And not even content for the channel, but even content in your own free time as well. Like,
yeah,
you love to see it.
I've been looking forward to it for a very long time now, I must say. And it may be here today. I don't know. It's not here yet. I'm in the house.
Unboxing.
I've been in the house alone all day today. I've just been sitting out my bedroom window. I had one class at 12 o'clock till 1, and up until that, I was literally just sitting at my window, just looking, being like, "Is this fucking van gonna pull up with my PS5?" But yeah, no. Have you played it much since you got it?
Yeah, I mean,
I'll be
lying if I say I didn't put some time into it. But at the same time, like when I first got it, obviously I was all for it. And like when I first got it as well, it kind of was on the last week before like your reading week where you don't really have any classes. So I was gonna take that weekend off anyway for like getting prepared and doing nothing and ready for like a full week of study and work and assignments and shit like that. So I utilized that weekend well. Nowadays probably not as much. I'd say I probably give myself a morning, like I'd probably give myself an hour, 2 hours in the morning, and then I know if I stay any longer, I'm gonna be it's gonna get bad.
Yeah, not
yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like it's new, it's exciting. It's like you really want to get into it and stuck into it properly, but a little bit of control now and then has to be thrown in as well.
Yeah, I agree with you. To be fair, what was I gonna say? Fuck yeah. Obviously, lads, the rules of lockdown were eased slightly recently, meaning we can go within our counties. So obviously the boys can film in person again. We filmed the football video last week, which will be coming out.
Come on.
Well, it'll be out and all by the time this podcast comes out. But I feel like to keep our consistency going on ShiteTalk, I feel like I'm just kind of running this by you as well, mate. It might be a good idea for us to kind of mix and match what weeks that we do. Like we might just stay doing Zoom some weeks, and some weeks we'll meet up depending on what the crack is, like if we're free, if we're not busy or that. Because like I found these Zoom casts like really, really good, and they've kept the channel really, really consistent. We've kept this kind of every 2 week consistency thing going, and honestly, it's been. I'm very surprised we've managed to get this far. But
yeah, I can't like same with yourself, mate. Not that I didn't have faith in Zoom or all these other ones, but like I mean, lads, back in the day, me and Kelly, I think used Skype for this when we first started.
Oh, it was a disaster, mate.
And yeah, it just didn't go well. But just on that as well, I know as we were saying, we want to do the in-person podcast, and we do, we really, really do. But just before this, we were talking about actually our schedules and what we've got coming up. Like it is getting to that period of exam season and assignment season. The work is coming in, so we will try and produce the podcast and get clips out and whatnot. But as for in-person stuff, like Kelly says, we just to keep the consistency going, we probably will have at least 1 or 2 more of these, and then depending on the situation, we'll throw ourselves back into the old face-to-face.
Yeah, like you said there about the college work coming in, like it's getting to the business end of the year now. So we're as you say, we're going to be very much flat out, and these are just easy to get done and recorded. Very little editing goes into them, and I can just put them out on the Tuesday. And people are enjoying them as well, so it's not a case of like, oh, people are mad to see us get back in person and do these. But I think I think the summer is probably the time that you can expect more consistent in-person podcasts. Up until the end of the college year, it'd probably be 1 or 2, if even that, depending on how busy we are and all that. But just said we'd clear that up before we started, because I know a lot of people were probably questioning, lads, you're allowed to do it in person now, why aren't you? That's why.
We said last week as well, we'll probably do the next one. The last one could be the last of the Zoom cast as well. But look, college has come into play a bit.
Yeah, exactly. And as I said, these are handier, and good to get out. And obviously, as I said, the summer is what we can look forward to with the in-person ones. Any news yourself, mate, before we get into the meat and drink of this podcast? I don't know what this podcast episode is probably going to be called, actually. So, any news yourself before we crack into that?
Not really, mate. Like,
any Fox encounters this week?
No wild and wonderful Fox encounters. The running even had to be put on hold this week because of college, which is a bit of an L. I'm trying to think what did happen. I mean, other than you
recorded that video.
Yeah, we did. We got the video done, actually. The video where it was, it was great to get back out again. And in true Grievach fashion, Grievach almost gave himself a concussion. Because
yes.
Why not? We won't reveal too much on that, obviously, because we want the views for Kelly. But just be aware, Jack managed to almost give himself a concussion, being a bit of a prat.
Well, actually, we can reveal what we want because the video will be out by the time this.
Oh, well, so
yeah, we can actually say whatever we want.
Right. Well, then, yeah. So, boys, should I explain that? Is there an explanation due for that? Because I think people saw the Twitter clip.
Yeah,
and it probably reacted a bit of confusion.
Yeah, so basically, lads, it's the start of a new series on my channel, or kind of a spin-off of the goal recreation series, right? We're doing goal recreations for every single Premier League club where I will collab with a fan from each club. And it was just an idea I came up with. It might take off, it might not. But this first episode is an absolute banger. I have to say,
it really is.
And before we did it was obviously Man United recreations because it's Jack. We decided we would do a little free kick session before we started. That was meant to be another video, but it kind of went a bit wrong. So it's gone into a bit of a montage at the start of my Man United recreations. Essentially, I was taking free kicks from the middle of the goal. And we had a wall, the wall was just like a small goal, like we usually use. And I took a free kick, it hit the crossbar of the small wall. And Grievach decided, you know what? I'm going to high-five the wall for their stellar work in blocking this shot. And in doing so, he absolutely clarted his head off the crossbar. And his foot, mate, your leg just went through the fucking turf.
I'm actually very surprised that leg is still intact. I'm not gonna lie. Like you say there, boys. The idea was, when I jumped for it, it was meant to be a case of I hit it at stomach or chest length, and it just kind of brings the goal down. And it's like a dog pile. Don't ask me why this was even a thought in my head at the time. But Grievach, fair to say, got the timing wrong, and as Kelly describes, clarted his head off the crossbar, and then left the mother of all divots.
Oh my god!
In the pitch.
To be honest,
it's fair to say that's a landmark now for that pitch.
Yeah, I really think it's one of my favorite moments ever on the channel. To be quite honest, it's just an unbelievable. To be honest, I thought when you did it, you did. The Vine, like the old Vine, where your man kind of smacks his hands off the top of a door as he's walking through it, and it's like duh, 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 duh.
Yeah.
That's what I thought that was. I thought you hit your hands off it, but looking back at the footage, your head cleared off that crossbar.
You can see the head going forward and then back straight away.
Oh my days! I was like, what? Yeah. Why has he done that?
Yeah, why has he done that? I mean, look, lads, the mysteries that surround the thoughts in Grievach's head, they'll never be, proven.
All I'm saying is, this is what you get when the True Lily White records with Aaron Kelly. This is what happens. Just crazy, unpredictable moments that you never expect.
Basically, what happens is, lads, Grievach can't shoot, so he compensates with it by killing himself.
I was only reminiscing on the recording we did with Kane that time, where you jumped into the side of the fucking dressing room. And fun fact here, lads. Fun fact: Grievach did it. We all were expecting it. Me and Kane. He did it, and I just fell down on the ground, and absolutely pissed myself laughing. And then I was like, "Oh, that was so funny. It's just a shame that the camera wasn't facing you." And Jack went, "Oh well, try to do it again."
Yeah, why not? Like it's a hilarious moment. If you want it on the video, I'm happy to do it again. The worst part about that is, I don't know if you've said that, is, but there was nettles underneath where I was landed. So the 2 times I did it, I got stung twice.
Oh my
But
God.
it's all for the content, boys and girls. You know, it has to be done. It just has to be done.
You can always rely on you for producing great moments. Like the Captain America one as well, when you jumped off the fucking dressing room and just landed
all I'm saying is, mate, I've got some stuntman CV coming together.
You really do. Fucking jackass will be knocking on your door.
Honestly, lads, if there's anyone out there looking for a cheap Irish stunt double, hit me up. My information will be down below. Get in contact with me and give me the big bucks.
Oh God, fucking quality. Right, well, that's a little update on what's been going on in our lives, lads. I hope you enjoyed the video. It'll be out. Well, it came out on Saturday. It'll be out tomorrow for us. We're recording this on Friday, so hope you enjoy it. Right, okay, let's get into this then. The mental week that has occurred in the football world. I know we spent a lot of last week's episode, or 2 weeks ago's episode, talking about football with David, but you can't not go into detail on this. I was very active about it on my YouTube channel, uploading 2 videos this week, on Monday and Wednesday. Basically, European Super League completely ended our world for a couple of days, and then it was revived on Tuesday evening when Chelsea announced they'd be leaving, and then the domino effect happened, and now it's in the bin, really, because I think there's only 2 or 3 teams left actually in it.
Yeah.
Barcelona, Real Madrid, and Juventus. Meaning, actually, before we get into anything, I think UEFA threatened that if there was anybody still in the Super League by this Friday, they'd be kicked from the Champions League immediately. Meaning, Chelsea could get a bye into the Champions League final right now. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Like, that would be the biggest W, I think, for Chelsea Football Club. Not for football, but for Chelsea Football Club. In a final. When was the last time Chelsea were in a final, actually? Was it? It wasn't 2008, was it?
No, it was 2012 when we won it against Bayern.
Yeah, geez, man. That's actually not that long. I thought it was longer. But anyway, yeah.
It's still quite long ago, to be fair. But 2012 was the last time we were in a final. Last time we were in a semi-final was 2014. We got knocked out by Atletico Madrid. But yeah, that could happen if we could be in the final if Real Madrid haven't pulled out. I don't know if that's still a thing, or was it just like a threat. But anyway, I gave all my thoughts on it. I laid it out on the table in Monday's video. I was very upset about it, as you could probably tell. What was your thoughts on it, mate?
Yeah, I mean, like, look, I think any football fan had the same kind of reaction. It was a disgrace that it was even considered in the first place. The fact that it just highlighted, I think, to me and to everyone, there's no respect. Not even these people. They don't respect, fans. That's fine. We can accept that. But I think what really hit home for me as well was the fact, I think, when Klopp came out and said that he had been given very little information. It was really just sprung on him and the team. The team weren't aware of it. There was no, what is this good for the team, or is this good for, the money, the profits coming in, week out? And I think that's the scariest part about all this, is that they've shown quite clearly and evidently that they don't care. They don't care about, our game. They don't care about, any aspects other than the money. And I think when people who have that amount of power and have that amount of, money and influence, well, they think they have the influence they have. I think it's a very dangerous combination. I think I've heard a lot of people saying, it's dead. We've won this war. I don't think genuinely we've won this war. I think we've won a small battle. That makes sense. I do believe that this is going to come back. I do believe your man, is it Florentino Perez or
Real Madrid?
I do believe that he will get something back. There's a lot of people saying, just actually while you mentioned about the UEFA and FIFA, the threats about banning from international competitions like the Euros and the Champions League. Now, again, this is only speculation. Certain people saying that these clubs pulled out in lieu that they don't want to lose the Champions League this year, but when it's resetting again next season, they might go back into the Euro Super League because there's nothing to pay for, there's nothing at stake anymore. But like I said, I think like I say, it's a disgrace. There's no way this should happen, and it just is. It highlights the sheer greed that is at the very top of the tree in these football clubs.
Yeah, it really does. Like, as you say, like the biggest, like the most eye-opening thing is they've showed that they don't care about the fans, they don't care about the culture, they don't care about the legacy. And if what they proposed had gone through, then all of that would have been completely in the bin. All the good work that these clubs have done over the last 100-odd years to achieve what they've achieved, create this beautiful thing in football would just be completely scrapped and gone. And obviously we're delighted that the events that transpired on Tuesday evening did, but I agree with you that I don't think this is the end of it, unfortunately, and something needs to change quick. These people at the top of these clubs need to change. I mentioned it in my video on Wednesday, I think. Mark Goldbridge had a video out talking about the Bundesliga clubs and how well they're run. So the fans always own more shares in the club than any one person. So it's like a 50+1 type of deal they have going on there. And that is why you didn't see Bayern Munich or Leipzig or Dortmund accept, to go into this competition. The one club that did surprise me that rejected it was Paris Saint-Germain.
That definitely was, I think, the major surprise. You would have thought that Paris Saint-Germain, big club in France, with all due respect to them, they haven't been too successful in Europe, and a better chance maybe of a competition that is, in retrospect, pointless, but still a European trophy.
Yeah, and I would have expected them to be one of the first to jump at the opportunity of playing in this competition. But to be fair to them, they didn't. But I agree with the point what you said there about the players and managers of these clubs as well. I felt very sorry for Jurgen Klopp and the Liverpool players on Monday night, because the Liverpool bus obviously got absolutely bombarded as it was coming into Elland Road as they were playing Leeds on Monday. And the Leeds fans are they're an angry lot. Well, not an angry lot, but a lively lot.
They had reason to be.
Yeah, they definitely had reason to be. But you look at it, it wasn't the players' fault. It wasn't the manager's fault. Jurgen Klopp was very much thrown under the bus as well. It was kind of like, right, we're doing this as a club. Now you go out and face the media and you answer their questions. And in the end, he had no logical answers to give them other than, Gary Neville used the "you'll never walk alone" in vain. Oh, the fuck Gary Neville, essentially. And I kind of felt sorry for him because that's all he could come out with. He needed somebody to blame. He needed a scapegoat, so he used Gary Neville. But yeah, it was just absolutely disgraceful. And
I agree with you there, actually, on the whole Jurgen Klopp thing. I think being the first of the big six clubs to play a match after this has come out is always going to be very difficult. I think, like you say, like obviously fans want to make their point heard, and they're trying to get team on side and see, the team is, the fans are against this, and if you're really part of this club and you care about us as much as you do, especially a club like Liverpool, you would back them. And like you say, Jurgen Klopp's being thrown out there. It was a difficult interview to watch. I can't lie. I mean, I remember in the studio beforehand, Jamie and Gary, almost egging it on, kind of saying, Jurgen, what he said in 2019, he's going to come out and say something similar. He's going to be the one to lead us through this. I mean, that, with all due respect, and I totally understand why fans would want him to come out and say that. But at the end of the day, it's his job, it's his livelihood. He's very passionate in his job, in the role he has, and I could see why he wouldn't want to say anything too controversial. Number one, given that it was just announced and nothing was really, 100% set in stone.
Yeah.
And number two, that you know, again, you don't want to say anything too controversial and risk losing your job. It's not what the board want you to say, if that makes sense, you know. And like, again, we've seen these players, they've made it clear they don't care. I think they would quite happily sack Jurgen Klopp off, given the recent events. And I don't think, like I said, that would never go down well in the whole of the football world. Never mind just, you know, Merseyside. But yeah, it was very difficult to watch. I think as well the Leeds players coming out with the shirts as well
adds more pressure to Klopp and Liverpool as well, doesn't it? The fact that they couldn't wear them shirts themselves, like. Yeah,
and as well, you know, chucking them in their dressing room as if to say, you know, wear these, you know, or you're with us or against us kind of mentality is as much as I respect them trying to get the message across and the players trying to get a message across. I just think that was a little too much. I mean, they obviously couldn't wear those right, you know, after it broke, and again, a very kind of unsettling and difficult situation for Jurgen Klopp then to try and address afterwards.
Yeah, for sure, and a tough situation for the players to play in as well. Like, you heard James Milner after the match basically said, "Look, nothing to do with us, lads. Like, we know as much as you do." And I feel like Jurgen Klopp is the same. And as I said, like, he was just pushed out there as if like, all right, this is our decision. It's gonna fucking piss everyone off, but you deal with it, sort of thing. Yeah. And I agree with what you said. He could have easily been sacked if he came out and started blasting the bloody thing, because I genuinely believe, mate, we don't know the ins and outs of it. I genuinely think that's why Jose Mourinho's lost his job. Obviously, Mourinho was sacked on Monday morning, a good while after. But the word is that he went into Tottenham training on Monday and kicked up a fuss straight up, saying he didn't want to train the players, he didn't want anything to do with what was going on, and they just went, "Yeah, right, fair enough, fuck you." Because, quite frankly, you know, week of a cup final as well, you know, that just adds even more fuel to the fire. They're playing Man City in the Carabao Cup, but obviously they will have played it already by the time this episode comes out. But, you know, I don't care how bad your form is. If you have a manager in charge who's got you to a cup final, you don't sack him the week of the cup final. Like, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. Like, and even though Spurs are in bad form and they're not playing well, I still think that decision is solely down to what happened with the Super League shit.
Yeah, fully agree with you, mate. Like you say, very, very unusual that a club would sack their manager on the week of a cup final. There was, like you say, I know form was bad, but like you say, mate, he's got him to a cup final, regardless if it's against City, regardless of what the odds are. He's got them to the cup final. Europe may or may not be, you know, a realistic possibility, like Champions League, obviously now. But you would imagine if the plan was to sack him before the end of the season, you would have thought surely hold off until after the Carabao Cup final. Just you know, just keep the team together almost, you would think. But for it to be done beforehand and quite close to the date of announcement of the Super League, and it does back up what you're saying, the claims that, you know, he didn't want to lead them out. And if it's true, fair play to Mourinho. It was a stand he took himself. He didn't have to do it himself. He took a stand. He looked at his morals and he said, I don't want to be a part of that. And that is what we need more of in the situation that we currently are in. But like I say, it backs up the point about Jurgen Klopp. You know, if he had said anything or done anything extra, you know, quite clearly, if these lads are firing managers in the Carabao week before cup finals, you know, you should surely have no problem sacking off Jurgen Klopp for saying something controversial.
Yeah, and it's clear as well from this sacking that it doesn't matter who you are either. Like, it's Jose Mourinho, and it's Jose Mourinho, one of the most decorated managers in the history of football, and Tottenham Hotspur. Mourinho's here, Tottenham are on the floor, mate. Do you know what I mean?
They're gone, mate. They're gone.
In terms of pedigree, that's what we're looking at here. And it was. I just think it was so bait. It was so bait that I was like, right, well, you know, goodbye then. You know, we're looking for a fucking reason to sack you anyway. So fuck it. I don't care if it's a week of a cup final. You're giving us a reason to sack you now. You're coming out against what we want, and you know, we'll bin you off.
You go.
And I could definitely see fear in Jurgen Klopp's interview. before and after the Leeds game. Definitely there was fear there. Now I know Pep came out against it. I don't know if it was Tuesday, maybe. It might have been just before Chelsea pulled out of it, but Pep came out and said he was against it. The Liverpool players then came out and said they were against it. Then we had the protests at Stamford Bridge on Tuesday night before the Brighton game. And just before we kicked off against Brighton, it was announced that Chelsea would be leaving. And then during the game at Stamford Bridge, it was announced that City had announced that they'd be leaving. And then it was literally a domino effect from there. By the end of Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, all 6 English clubs had left. And at that point, really, you kind of thought to yourself, right, it's in the bin. And as you said, it's a win for football, but there's still work to be done with these clubs. And as a Man United fan, I presume your stance on like the Glazers is get them out the fuck.
They've got to go. I think Woodrow going, or what the fuck's his name? I can never remember.
Ed Woodward.
Ed Woodward. Fuck me. Yeah, he's finally fucked off. Look, I think I watched Goldbridge's reaction to it as well. You know, he was very happy, but he said he was they considered him the Don. Like, you know, the Glazers don't really do any of the owner work, basically, or something like that. That they only are there for, you know, coming in the meetings, money, all this kind of stuff. And I just think that even if you look at them, there's been things that come out and said that, you know, they've watched the game for a year or 2 years. They don't understand the offside rule. They don't understand the game. Like, I just think there's no, like with a lot of these owners, there's no interest in football. It's becoming a case of, like, a lot of these owners, I think, are American as well. And they're trying to, you know, franchise it similar to the NFL and all this kind of stuff. And I think I don't mean to say anything too controversial, but I think the difference is football fans here have been fans and built by fans, and it's been hundreds of years of history in football. Like, you know, there's so much history behind football. And the thing is as well, it's not so much that people are opposing change. Like, there's some aspects you have to accept football will change and stuff like that, but it has to be changed in a positive direction, not just for, you know, money, but the greater game as well. Like, you know, if it has to be a thing where competitions have to be reviewed and maybe rescheduled or reorganized, that's fine. But I think even the process and the layout of the Super League, where there's no relegation, there's no competition, 15 or 13 teams are automatically invited back every season. It just feels stupid. It feels so. Greed is the only word you can associate with it. But yeah, anyway, I fully think the Glazers should be kicked out. There's protests, I think, the training ground there a couple of days ago, or maybe even yesterday evening.
Yeah.
Look, it's well known now, but like I say, I don't think it'll do too much in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, look, these owners, like, this idea would have, like, ripped the heart and soul out of football, like everything that we love about it. And I genuinely think that the only way we move past this and the only way we avoid anything like this ever happening again is if we do adopt that system of ownership where the fans own more than half of all these clubs. Yeah. Because otherwise these rich businessmen pricks are just going to get out of control. And I believe the 4 main catalysts or people who were pushing forward this idea of the Super League were obviously Florentino Perez, Joel Glazer, John W. Henry from Liverpool, and Stan Kroenke from Arsenal. So those are your 4 dons. Obviously, you know, the likes of Sheikh Mansour from Manchester City and Roman Abramovich from Chelsea apparently weren't that into it and weren't really too keen on it going ahead. But they've got to be in the firing line as well. Like, they just have to be. I know they've done so much for their respective clubs, but they've got to be in the firing line as well, because either way, whether they wanted to or not, they still tried to do it.
Yeah, and this is exactly the point, mate. Like, and you just think about the 3 English clubs you've named there. Arguably, the 3 biggest English clubs with the most history, Premier League related history. Like, it's unbelievable that they're willing to just, like you say before, throw the history away without any consideration of, how it might affect the fans or people. Like you hear so many people say, the fans built the club. Like United was a working man's club built up from the ground, pretty much.
Yeah.
It just is graceful, and like you say, they've done it once. They've thought about it once. This is a slight hiccup. We can't forget that they've tried to do that, and they can release as many apology videos as they fucking want, as many statements as they want. It doesn't take away from the fact that they've tried to destroy our game in every sense of the word. In particular, Florentino, fucking whatever the fuck the cunt's name is. I'm sick of hearing about him and trying to control what football is in another nation. It honestly boggles the mind. It's like you say, man, I couldn't really take it off my mind. It really irritated me to think about it. They have to go. They have to go. It will happen again, definitely, especially if these are the catalysts that are involved in it.
Yeah, definitely. Like this, as you say, man, we've won this battle, but there's still a war to be won. But I gotta just say, like, huge kudos to every fan who put forward their opinion. Definitely. And it just goes to show, like, if you feel strongly about this, say it, because it will make a difference, like, in the grand scheme of things. I thought that, the protest outside Stamford Bridge, I thought was absolutely excellent. I know, like, we're in the middle of a pandemic and people weren't exactly social distancing or anything like that, but, they weren't breaking any laws because, England are pretty much out of lockdown now, aren't they? So,
yeah, pretty much they're allowed to be outside and everything now, so.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I thought it was very, very good. And that brings up another point of, like, the timing of this as well. Like, they've specifically chosen, like, or used this pandemic when fans aren't in the stadiums to try and sneakily, like, do this. And I'm just glad that on this occasion it has absolutely blown up in their face and made Florentino Perez look like a right fucking prick altogether. But
yeah, just exactly that, mate. Like, the timing of it couldn't be any worse. You're talking about a time where people, are really struggling, and some people are struggling financially, and they're really struggling. People to get a job even nowadays. And you hear people like this crying and complaining that they're 400 million pounds lost in a season. We're playing in a training ground stadium. We need to try and get more money in. And then blatantly lie, saying it's not about money in a statement, and then a paragraph later bring up how much his team has lost in a year. I think it just boggles the mind that they were willing to hand themselves, whatever was it, 3.95 billion for even taking part in the competition.
That's more than you win. That's way more than you win. Like, when you win the Champions League, you get that. And this is the thing, entering this thing.
And that's the thing. I can't, like, you think about it, mate. Think about the teams that were in it. Do honestly, every one of those teams deserve that much amount for, like you say, for more than winning the Champions League? Spurs, I don't think have Spurs won the Champions League. Let's be honest with ourselves.
Spurs have never won anything, mate. Like,
Spurs were willing. Daniel Levy was willing to give himself that much money for doing jack shit with his club. It honestly boggles the mind. Like, even if the clubs have won Champions League previously, the fact that they thought they deserved the God-given right to get essentially what would be about 7 or 8 billion in 2 seasons in this competition, it's genuinely insane. It makes no sense. And under the lose of a pandemic, to see clubs be begging and taking that much money when other people, are struggling, I just thought it was incredible.
Yeah, it really was. I'll be back in 2 seconds, mate, because I've heard my front door going. I'm just going to presume.
Oh, it's happening!
No, I don't think it is. I think it's just somebody.
Shit!
I think it's just somebody home. Let me just see. Yeah. Oh, it is. I am not being broken into. That's the nice thing to hear.
Thank God.
I heard the front door go 5 minutes ago. I was like, what was that?
Oh no. Live, not live on the podcast.
Oh, can you imagine that? Fuck me. Jesus Christ. All right. What was I going to say? Yeah. Do you want to know, mate? Right. Okay. The last time Spurs won a trophy was 2007. when they won the League Cup against Chelsea at Wembley. Okay, that was the last time they won a trophy of any sort. Okay,
right.
Don't hear the last time they won the league.
When was the last time? They have they won the league? I assume they have.
They've not won the Premier League, but they've won like the old First Division.
Oh, right.
Do you know the last time they won the league?
I'm gonna say late 80s.
1960 or 61.
Oh my God.
Do you want to know what clubs have won the league more recently than Spurs?
Bloody Leicester have done it.
Leicester have done it. Blackburn Rovers have done it.
Oh no.
Everton have done it.
Oh no.
And here's the kicker. Burnley have done it.
Oh.
Yeah. And they think.
Oh mate.
Let's just say the Super League was ever like a good idea, right? In the first, which it obviously wasn't. Let's just say it was.
Hypothetically
speaking, Spurs genuinely thought that they
have the right,
a big enough club to be in with the elites. Manchester United, Liverpool, Barcelona, Real Madrid, fucking AC Milan, Juventus, Inter Milan, Chelsea, Man City. They think that they deserve to be in this spot. Even Arsenal have more of a right to be in there than them. And Arsenal are a joke, man.
That is saying something, Arsenal at the minute.
That's really saying something. But one last thing I want to bring up about the Super League, because I know we've talked about it for the majority of this podcast, which, I think is fair enough, to be quite honest.
It had to be done, lads.
One more point I want to bring up. Did you watch John W. Henry's so John W. Henry is the owner of FSG, or the owner of the owners of Liverpool.
Is
John
this
W.
to
Henry.
do with a certain potted plant being placed?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it fucking is. So he had his Logan Paul-esque apology video out, and he's all like, "I'm so sorry to the Liverpool fans. I'm sorry to Jurgen. I'm sorry to the fans of this club." It seems like a sincere apology. Then you realize that he's strategically placed a yellow rose, I think is what it's called. Behind him.
It was a very, the camera was panned to him, but literally just out a shot of him.
Yeah.
Is a table, a lone table.
Yeah. Let me just say, I'm going to Google it real quick, just so I get this right.
No worries.
Let me see now.
I can't remember. I just remember it was a yellow flower.
Yeah, I think it was a yellow rose. Okay, that's not what okay, maybe it wasn't a yellow rose then, but the yellow rose symbolizes jealousy and greed. Or no, it once symbolized jealousy and greed. It now represents friendship and care. How do you just switch like that? That's quite a drastic switch, I thought it's
decided that is what that flower meant as well. Like, who decided? What group of people sat down in a room and said, that flower there reminds me, it used to remind me of jealousy and greed. Now it reminds me of friendship, that does.
Somebody's had a rough time with yellow roses. I thought it stood for forgiveness. Maybe I'm looking on a different page, but I thought maybe it's not a yellow rose either. Maybe it's a different flower name. Maybe I got it wrong. But I read somewhere that the meaning of that flower, which sounds fucking ridiculous. Why do flowers have meanings? But
don't, mate.
Just stop. The meaning of that flower is forgiveness, and he's just placed it behind him. Like it's what's it called? Subconscious manipulation, I think is the right way to phrase it. But yeah, a load of bollocks, the Super League, and let's just hope that there's a big change at the top of these clubs. And
yeah, there needs to be.
Yeah, it was a big win for football on Tuesday, but the fight doesn't end here, lads. That's all I'll say. Just keep protesting, keep going.
Keep it going, boys.
I think I've seen, obviously, there was a United. Obviously, you mentioned the United. There was 20 United fans into the training facility to protest about the Glazers. Before Tottenham's match the other night with Southampton, there was fans outside White Hart Lane. I'm going to call it White Hart Lane because I'm not calling it the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. There was fans outside White Hart Lane basically protesting against Daniel Levy. And now Arsenal fans are arranging a protest for tonight for their game against Everton outside the Emirates against Stan Kroenke. So best of luck, lads. I wish I could be there with you.
drag him out, lads. Drag him out.
Honestly, more than anything else, the Stamford Bridge protest looked like great crack as well. Like,
actually, who was it? Was it a lad called Togdad or whatever his name is?
Yeah, Togden.
Togden. Oh man, that was the.
He just goes up behind Petr Cech, walks by him, and he's like, "You got this, you got this." But yeah, that was a fucking elite video. Elite. Togden's elite. I'd love to have him on the podcast someday.
If we ever got him on the podcast, what an episode that was.
That actually did remind me. I mentioned to you last week, mate. I think there's a podcast. I can't remember, the name of it escapes me right now, but I'll put the name of the podcast up on screen now. But it's run by a 13-year-old lad and a 14-year-old lad. And they had Josh Peters and Archie Manners on the podcast.
Yeah.
And I was looking at that and I was like, well fucking in, lads. Well in. Like, that is unbelievable.
Absolute legends.
I think their podcast, when I seen it, they only had like just over 500 subs, which isn't too much more than myself on my own channel. So, it was kind of like, what if me and you on Twitter just went mad, tagging as many people we'd love to see on the podcast as possible, and just seeing if we got any responses. Just be like, listen, would you be interested in doing a podcast? I think that'd be elite.
we need a 30-minute segment. Just come on, have a chat with us.
Yeah, that'd be unbelievable. I
think look, at the end of the day, there's no harm trying it. Like, if fucking 13 and 14-year-old lads can get him, why the fuck can't? Why can't we? Like, like,
why not? Like, what? Just fucking would.
Might as well try. Like,
yeah, like, you die trying, sort of thing. You know what I mean? Like, what's the worst that can happen? They say no, or they just don't respond. Like, do you know what I mean?
That's it.
I just got a notification from that Twitter account that I was doing the PS5 thing. Amazingly, PS5s ordered yesterday are already getting delivered. That's some world-class service right there. Oh,
you love to hear that news.
Yeah, I could be. See, I want to get it today. I want it to arrive. Shit. Okay. Actually, I didn't tell Josh that we got one. So I'm trying to keep my voice down. But yeah, I'm just gonna wait till it arrives and then just like be playing away with it until he just walks in. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's actually a bit mad. Hopefully it happens, lads. Okay.
It arrives.
What else we got? Yeah. Every time I mention this Donny's name on the podcast, right? Grievac, and to be fair, it's very much warranted. You kind of give it a bit of oh, for fuck's sake. Jake Paul is in the news again, isn't he? He when was it? Last week he was boxing former MMA fighter Ben Askren. Very, very happy I didn't stay up to watch this fight.
Bad stuff. That was the biggest waste of fucking time. People stayed up all night till like 6 a.m. for that.
Oh my god, man. That's like, I was gonna say it's worse than staying up to watch him fighting Gibb that time like I did, but it actually is, to be fair, because I think you have to pay like €24 to watch.
Yeah, it was a proper pay-per-view price. It wasn't like reduced or anything like that. It was like pretty much what you'd get for like a normal, event, like boxing event.
Yeah, like at least
and yet the quality of it was shit.
Yeah, it was like a 2014 fucking YouTube video. Like, it was just low budget really fucking weird shit. Yeah, it was awful. But yeah, like at least when I stayed up to watch Jake versus Gibb last year, that was for free. That was just on Sky Sports Arena, and that was for free, so that was fairly all right. But this one, he knocked him out inside the first round, and immediately, for me, respect to Jake, whatever. He looks like a decent boxer, right? But I don't know about you, but questions were raised for me when I seen the highlights.
I mean,
he goes down, he hits the deck. Jake catches him with an unbelievable right, you got to say.
It's a corker.
It really is a good shot. He goes down, but then he gets back up pretty much straight away. Looks fine. The ref's all like, holding him, and then he's like, all right, you ready to go again? And then he kind of goes, oh. And the ref's like gives him a count, and then he kind of starts tumbling again. Yeah, so that happened. Then the referee waved it off, and Jake had won. And honestly, I seen the one thing I did see then on Twitter was the savage hits that Ben Askren has taken in his career in MMA. And then one stiff right from Jake Paul finishes him. Now, I know the like boxing gloves are heavier, I get that, but like I seen a clip of him literally on the ground and a guy was literally going fucking
beating the shit out of him.
Yeah, so I don't know about you, like maybe I'm just completely clueless on boxing, which I am, but you know, I'd have to ask you, mate, your opinion. Like what how does that work? Like how did it was it fixed? Or is it just a case of he caught him well?
I think the thing you have to say is right. He catches him well. Like it's a really good shot, like you say. Like he catches him and he just goes. Like he's on the ground, he's flat, he's gone. But what I will say was, and like you say, it is very unusual. It doesn't seem like he gets up. You can see when he gets up straight away, there is definitely a wobble. But he does look a bit shaky. But whether, like you say, is that legitimate, like shaky? Is that legitimate, like legs are gone, he's finished in one round? I don't know. I mean, like we saw very little from him, and the stuff we did see from Ben was admittedly shit. But like you say, mate, it would definitely make sense that it was a bit fixed. I don't know actually who promoted the fight. I don't know who was involved at that end of it. It does feel there definitely doesn't feel something right about it. I like you say, I can't really accept that one hook has been enough or one jab has been enough for him to, stumble as much as he stumbled and really rock him as much as he does. It came out as well afterwards that Ben admitted that he did actually want to fight Jake, but a large portion of his motivation was money. Yeah. So you have that thrown into it on top of it, which doesn't look good. Now that could have just been said, obviously, just to cover his own arse. But for me personally, look, I'm just gonna say I think there is something dodgy going on, but I'll give credit where credit's due. It's a good shot. I don't think it is a match-winning shot. I do, however, think that with this, as much as I know, and you and me both know, it's not going to be the end. It really is getting to a point now where it's like when people have stayed up that long for that shit and you've paid money for it, you are being robbed. You are being robbed. It is daylight robbery. I think he said he makes something like $6 million from it. I mean, he made $6 million from a paper. And that don't even quote me on that, boys, because that could be way more. That honestly could be way more.
Could be.
But he's done less than 3 minutes and earned $6 million or more in around, I think, $6 million.
Yeah.
And the worst thing is, it could have been all been staged. It could have all been faked. We don't know.
It's dodgy, like, and you look at Ben, right? And I don't really know much about him. I don't really know what he looked like in his prime MMA days. But he just looked like he didn't train for the fight. Like, he looks out of shape. He does the bit of pad work and a little bit of sparring that I seen of him before the fight with Jake was just shit. Like, it's just like he says, "Oh yeah, I wanted to fight Jake, but a large part of my motivation was, money." I think all of his motivation was money, and I think a large portion of him was like, right, maybe he was told, look, you're coming to the end of your game here. You've got Jake Paul, an upcoming boxer. Let's give him this fucking big hurrah and promote him even further. Because the biggest criticism a lot of people have had of Jake so far is that he's not fought a real boxer. His professional fights have been against Gibb, against Nate Robinson, and now Ben Askren, who is a fighter, yes, but an MMA fighter and an old one. So, yeah, I think. Listen, I don't want to say that it's definitely staged, but it definitely does look dodgy. Now, the question is, what happens next? Because it's Jake Paul. He's probably going to want to fight at least once more before the end of the year, probably just once more. And who is that going to be against? For me, I would genuinely think the fight with KSI is now in the bin, to be honest.
Yeah. Look, I think on that, like you say, look, I think the best time to have done that would have been after Logan Paul fight. That was the end. That was the trilogy. That was the one that probably, if we're being honest, probably would have ended the whole of YouTube boxing. If that fight had happened, again, now we don't know the ins and outs of it. We don't know whether it was, there was no point to it, if there was no, market for it or whatever, even though there definitely was a market for it. But I think, like you're saying now, you're talking about who's going to fight next. I think KSI's in the bin. I think he's actually come out and said that Tommy Fury is very much on the cards now. His next fight, very much.
I would like to see that, because obviously Tommy Fury, we talked about him before, half-brother Tyson, that he's an actual boxer, and he's grown up with the sport. It's in his blood, unlike any of the people that Jake have fought so far, because, like, to be honest, I think Tommy Fury, I agree with you, is probably the fight that most people would still be interested in seeing. Now, Jake himself has called out Conor McGregor, but let's be honest, Conor McGregor, that's a money move, and I could never even see, like, as money hungry as Conor McGregor is, I don't think he'd ever. I mean, maybe he would. Maybe he showed himself to have not much integrity before, Conor McGregor. So maybe he'd look at this and go, "Yeah, fuck it, it's an easy out fight. Only a fucking YouTuber, like, you know what I mean?" That could be the way he looks at it. Do you know what I mean?
I think the problem is now with this is that, like, when it started, people took YouTuber boxing very. There's like, it's a joke. It's a disgrace to the sport and all this kind of stuff. And there's probably an argument there that it is a bit softer than the actual sport. But you do have Jake now, who is, like, as much as we hate to admit it, he's had 3 fights now. But those 3 fights are not against boxers. I think now he needs to fight a big boxer. Like, the Tommy Fury one probably is the biggest boxer he will get, with retrospect,
Also,
he's not going to get,
he's big he's big in social media as well. Obviously, he was on Love Island and stuff, and he's already been like, that would sell.
Oh, definitely, mate. And this is the thing: is it a case now that this is as good as he's going to get? Like, I think the thing is, like, he can call out as many MMA fighters, he can call out athletes all he wants. The issue is he's dodging the main criteria he needs to be considered a boxer, and that is fight an actual boxer. Like we saw, I know it's not nowhere near the same, but we saw when Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor fought, and people were saying, even though Conor McGregor's in box, like, he's an animal, he's young, he's hungry, he's gonna knock the shit out of Floyd.
Yeah, he's a striker as well. He's what they call a striker in MMA as well. He's got a good left. A good left hook on him. And that was, I suppose, the biggest attributes in saying, oh, he could actually do something here. But yeah, I agree with you. He needs to fight a boxer.
Yeah, and that's what the other point I'm just going to make. It's 2 different sports. They might be the same. They might be combat sports, but again, you're talking about different criteria, different gloves, different body movements, feints, all this kind of stuff. Like, I honestly, I don't think Jake Paul can call himself a proper boxer. I think Jake Paul can call himself an athlete. Until he fights a proper boxer, I just can't see him with chests calling himself a professional boxer. I do think Tommy Fury should be the next fight if he wants to be taken seriously, and like you say, hopefully that will happen, and hopefully Tommy will knock the 7 stages shite off him.
Yeah, we can only hope. But the fight with Askren was, in conclusion, it was a load of bollocks. It was in the bin. And very, very happy that I'm not one of those poor people that not only fucking stayed up to watch the bloody thing, but paid for it as well.
Yeah.
Fuck, that's the kicker for me. Like, if bad enough stayed up until, I think they said, the fights should be at 4 a.m. and it didn't start till like 5:30.
Right out to like 5:30, 6.
Like, it was getting bright and all by the time the fight was starting. Like, so yeah, fucking load of bollocks as well. We'll move on. I don't have too many other topics, but I did see something last night that I did want to bring up. And did you see? This is, I suppose, we're kind of going back onto football talk now, but it's not really. But did you see Jesse Lingard's interview the other day?
I actually didn't, mate. Well, I think I heard a segment of it where it was like, was it someone along the lines of "I could have given up in lockdown" or something like that? I can't, anyway, go on. You explain it, mate.
Yeah, it was. I can't remember the name of the channel that had it. I'll try and find it, but it was a really, really good interview. He kind of open up about his struggles with mental health and all that kind of stuff, and the effect, everything. Like, you hear a lot of stuff about Jesse Lingard and that his personal life is pretty hard. Like, I think he's got a sick mother and stuff, and he has to look after his siblings and stuff, and his nephews and nieces or whatever. Like, the stuff is hard for him anyway. And I have a couple of quotes actually from him here, and I'd love to know your thoughts on them. Okay, quote. Okay, this is not the time to get a voice break. No, this is right. It feels like you're not the same person. I feel like I wasn't Jesse Lingard. Even in football matches, I felt like the game was just passing me by, like I just didn't want to be there. I was going into games happy sitting on the bench, and that's just not me. My brother, who lives with me, he could see that, and he's got a video of me literally laying on the couch, and I'm just staring for 3 minutes into thin air, and he's just thinking, what is going through his head? He's got the weight of the world on his shoulders. I've had doctors that have helped me, which has been brilliant, and during the lockdown, I got my head together. So yeah, that was the main kind of gist of it. But he's over the last year or so, he's been really struggling, and it was great to see a player of that, or a person of that influence, coming out and talking about those issues. And now look at him, he's with West Ham, and he's absolutely fucking flying it. Like, he's their best player at the minute. And I don't know, I just felt like it was a good idea to bring that up in the pod, because it was a really, really good interview. I suggest you go watch it if you haven't already. But yeah, no, what, like, Jesse Lingard seems like a great lad, seems like a great character. You probably know more about him from his time at Man United.
Yeah, look, I think the rise of him and Rashford was, I think, probably one of the best things to come out of Manchester United in recent seasons. It's like I say, it's always uplifting and really, really, heartwarming to see when your club produces, these two young lads, and they start getting goals and getting confidence. And that interview there, like I said, I haven't seen it, but hearing him say all that and saying, he's happy to be on the bench, and he's staring in the thin air. But you can only imagine really how difficult that was, because there was a time before that where his form was incredible. Like, he was very good at Manchester United as well. Like, let's not forget, he did actually have a good couple of seasons at United before obviously these incidents happened, and it just goes to show how serious it can affect these players. And not every player is a robot, as much as people think that these players they go out, they train, and they do all this. There can be effects to it. And I think you often see when players go through bad form, fans do turn on them. And admittedly, we can all admit we have turned on players at times. I think what this shows is that, just because a player's going through bad form, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. There's so much more. And I think we do have to potentially give a little bit of leeway, and just, like we did with Lingard, let him go, let him do his thing. And he's come back, and like you say, he's a man revived. And he said he didn't feel like he's Jesse Lingard. This is Jesse Lingard now. Watching him now is absolutely incredible, and I am honestly delighted to see him on the rise again. And as much as you want him maybe to come back to Manchester United, I don't think he should come back to United. I think he should leave that chapter of his life now. If that's, I think, especially listening to him saying like what he was going through, I think it'd be important for him to kind of cut the tie, move on, and build on this career now he's starting to build for himself at West Ham.
We're back, everyone. My internet is fucking shit. Yeah, I was in the middle of a good point there as well about Jesse Lingard. You brought it up as well. I think this proves as well, these players, although they have big profiles and whatever, they're huge, they're human as well, and they all have fucking personal lives. And I just got to say fair play to fucking Jesse Lingard. We're calling out everyone to get them on the podcast. Jesse Lingard, mate, if you're watching this, You know?
Oh, do you know what? That would be actually. I'd actually love to get Jesse Lingard. I'd just love to hear what he says, and like it'd be class. Like you say, however unlikely it is, that would be pretty sick. Now I have to say.
ShiteTalk podcast viewers or listeners, go tweet
at Jesse Lingard.
Go tweet at Jesse Lingard, and let's make this happen. Because I think genuinely, mate, you know, there is no rules. Let's just pretend there is no rules.
Like if two 13-year-olds can get Josh Peters and all them, man, fuck it, like.
Let's try and get Jesse Lingard on. I think that would be a fucking amazing guest. Let me see. I've not got too many more topics lined up, mate. Unless you have anything else to add.
I'm from work. I have very little to contribute this week, unfortunately.
From Super League, this week as well. I think it's fair to say that was like the main topic we wanted to talk about and get out there. There was something else I wanted to say, and now I've forgotten. Fuck.
The internet has ruined it.
The internet has ruined everything, man. Bollocks. Oh yeah, this was it. It was kind of something to round off the podcast, right? Obviously, right. Our next episode is episode 20. Okay, so we're really getting the episodes down. Obviously, episode 10 was a bit of a landmark for us as well. So what we did for episode 10, lads,
yes.
If you're a new subscriber to the channel, we did a conspiracy theories episode, and that was a banging episode, to be quite honest. And I think it was one of our first that we did back in person. Now, I'm not sure if in 2 weeks' time we may be able to do episode 20 in person. Again, we'll see. It's all dependent on how busy we are in 2 weeks' time. But I wanted to ask your opinion. What do you think, and what did the audience think we should do for episode 20? Would you like to see a sequel to the conspiracies episode? Or my other thought was an urban legends episode, where we go off and do a bit of research, talk about some spooky stuff. I know we're nowhere near Halloween or anything like that, but I just thought maybe it might be an interesting one to delve into for episode 20. What do you think, man? Conspiracies or urban legends, or both?
Look, we say we can do both. We could do two-parter. We can do whatever we want, really. I think the conspiracy theories would be a nice way to do it. Obviously, keeping with tradition, sequel to it. It just depends, obviously, what conspiracy theories we can find, I suppose, and again, what urban legends we can find. But definitely 100% up for that, mate. It'd be very interesting. And obviously, if we can do it in person, even better.
Even better. So we've got 2 weeks now, lads. I might put out a poll on my Instagram. Would you rather see urban legends or conspiracy sequel, or both? If you want to see both, let me know as well. But yeah, mate, I'll let you round off the episode since you introed it.
Lovely stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching. You've been listening to the ShiteTalk.
No!
Fuck! I knew it. It's gone.
Oh no!
Right. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. You have been listening to the ShiteTalk podcast, episode 19. Thank you very much to Aaron Kelly for inviting me on, as always. We had a good discussion today. If you have any comments, arguments, or general complaints, leave them in the comments below. I myself will reply to the complaints. But obviously, guys, thank you so much for watching. All our links will be down below. Make sure you subscribe to them. Get Kelly to 400 or 500 now. Are we at, mate?
We're not at 400 yet. We're still 10 away. Unbelievably.
Boys, get it done. It has to be done. 10 subscribers. Tell your friends, tell your nan, tell your dog, get him on to the 400 subscribers. And yeah, thank you so much. And we will see you in 2 weeks' time. Thank you very much. Peace.
Bye.